Hello everyone, my name is Felix Golenko and welcome to Dashboards Worth Using. In this very first episode of Dashboards Worth Using, and I'm really excited about it, well, I will introduce one of my absolute favorite dashboard types, what I call a value growth chain dashboard. I will show you how this dashboard can be used to monitor and systematically improve the operations of a consultancy business. But as you will see it could very easily be adjusted to virtually any other type of business. Before we start, a bit of explanation. I define value growth chain as a view on a business consisting of business functions and processes that grow the value for external and internal stakeholders. Who are external stakeholders? Well, it's primarily customers, but also suppliers. And internal stakeholders are business owners, managers, and employees. So in my opinion, every business could, and actually I claim it should, be viewed as a value growth chain where each business function, each process, each activity grows the value for either external or internal stakeholders, or ideally for both. Well, just in a few minutes you'll see exactly what I mean. If I look on my business as a whole, here are some of the most important questions to be answered on a regular basis. Now, what is regular basis? Well, it doesn't have to be daily, but certainly it should be on weekly or at the latest on monthly basis. So the questions are, which part of my business is performing well and which not? Now, it's going to be interesting sub-question here. What does performing well mean? How far are we from targets that we have set ourselves? What is the trend of last few periods? And probably the most important one, what is going to happen in our business? What kind of results will we have if we continue doing things like we are doing them today? Well, if I've got the answers to these questions, then I'll be in the position to make decisions and take actions towards improving my business. Meaning, the things that already work well, I will continue doing them. Actually, I'd like to do more of them. And the things that don't work that well, I'll make decisions and take actions to fix them as soon as they pop up, thus preventing real problems happening later on. With these questions in mind, this is how my dashboard, providing the answers to these questions, looks like. Well, let's take a closer look at it. First, how it looks like, or what it contains, and afterwards, how it helps me manage, monitor, and improve my business. A couple of remarks already up front. The values of the metrics shown on this dashboard are, from obvious reasons, not real. The dataset I'm using here has been created for demonstration purposes only. But the business scenarios that I will be talking about later, they are real. As for every dashboard, two things here are important. Number one, which metrics does it contain? Which numbers does it show? And number two, how are these metrics visualized? How are they displayed? Well, obviously, I have chosen the metrics so that they will answer the questions I have got about my business. And since I view my business as a value growth chain, I've made sure that I cover the following business functions of my value growth chain. It's product development, lead generation, sales, operations, and financials. Now, I think, or I believe, every business has got something in the area of product development, certainly lead generation, or at least it should have lead generation. There are sales activities, operations or product service delivery. Those vary probably quite a bit from business type to business type, and we all have got financials. Now, let's take a look at what exactly I measure about all these important parts of my business. In product development, we have currently got one very important project. We are developing a new online training and coaching program. For this, we measure on-budget index. On-budget index being a very important metrics that help us monitor the development hours, helps us make sure that we are not really exceeding the budget. And we also track the expected completion date. Well, which in this case doesn't look too good, but I'll talk about this later. There are several things we do in lead generation part of our business. Not all of them, unfortunately, work all the time. Well, what we measure about lead generation part of our processes and activities on weekly basis are number of cold leads, number of warm leads, and the numbers of hours our salespeople are spending on scheduling the demos we do for our leads to convert them into prospects. Well, to these prospects, we then present offers in our sales business function, or at least we should present offers to them. As you will see, well, this scenario, a real scenario shows that we are kind of not really doing too good a job on them. And then we hopefully follow up on these orders. Sales for us means getting our clients to agree on starting the design and implementation part of our business intelligence projects. Okay, so it doesn't mean revenue yet, that comes later. So, what we measure about our sales process is number of prospects to whom the offers were not presented for longer than 2 weeks. Then we also measure the current total value of offers that we presented to our prospects in last few weeks or last few months. And we obviously measure the year-to-date sales amount, the year-to-date orders that we have received. Important here is, as I'd already mentioned, sales for our service business doesn't mean revenue yet. It just means that our consultants and developers can start working on their projects, which then happens in the operations part of our business. This is where, on one side, reports and dashboards are being designed and developed for our customers. And on the other side, we do all this stuff that is called data warehousing and data marts and ETLs. I don't want to get too technical. So, for this, we track on weekly basis for our operations. Number one, the total number of billable hours of the last week, the number of consultants who are utilized under 80%, meaning they are underutilized, and we track for just a very specific client, one of the clients, the number of hours that we spent on projects, on their projects, since we really want to make sure that we stay for this particular client within the budget. We do track financials too, but of course, they are at the very end of our value growth chain. We know that if we have done our homeworks upstream of our value growth chain well, then the financials will look good. If not, we are in trouble. Well, obviously we track here first the year-to-date revenue. Since there is one particular type of services we would like to push in the future more, we track the percentage of revenue coming from these services. And the part I'm always interested in the most is the cash flow. We track this too. Okay, so far I have covered which business functions we are tracking about our business and which metrics we are using to monitor them. But I've mentioned this already before. It is also very important how these metrics are shown or how they are visualized. Let's just take the number of warm leads as an example here. Well, we obviously want to make sure that we have got the actual value of this metric, which is 81 in this case for the last week. But just having the actual value won't really cut it. How do I know? How do we know it is good? Well, for this, we need to compare it to the target, meaning how many warm leads we actually wanted to have. Well, in this case, it doesn't look too good. We are actually 19 behind for the last week. But the fact that we are 19 behind for the last week could just mean that we had one bad week. Apart from that, we could actually be okay. So that's why we also need the trend, or how has the number of warm leads evolved over last 6 weeks. And if I look at this, then I have really got reasons to worry, since there is a very clear downwards trend here. We want our numbers to provide us actionable insights. To achieve this, there is always an actual value of the metric. This actual value needs to be compared to the target value, And there's a trend of the last couple of periods for this value. For two metrics on this dashboard, I have chosen a slightly different visualization. For the expected completion date, I have chosen just to show the number of days that we are behind. And for the number of prospects to whom the offers have not been presented for longer than 2 weeks, I have chosen to show the distribution to show how badly late some of these delays are. Remember my questions from the beginning? Okay, so how does my dashboard help me answer them? I clearly see which part of my business is performing well and which not. Actually, I see it at a glance. The greens are good, the yellows are okay, and the reds are the ones to worry about. It's clearly shown for every metric how far from target we are, and it's also clearly shown for every metric, or for most of them where it's relevant, what the trend is. So this covers the first 3 questions. How about the fourth one? What is going to happen if we continue doing the business the way we do it today or in the last couple of weeks? Well, this is where this dashboard unleashes its full power and potential. And I'm shamelessly stealing the unleash power phrase from Tony Robbins, whom I really, really admire. So let me show you a few examples where the real power of this dashboard is. If at all, still, in most of the cases, executives and business owners just look at their financial numbers. Well, if I were one of those, and I would just look at my financial metrics, my financial numbers as I see them here, there is nothing really to worry about. Yes, I'm slightly behind on revenue, but it's not too much. The percentage of my self-service BI services is still not there. Well, sure, things happen, and I hope it's gonna get better. But my cash flow is okay, and this is what I worry about the most. Yeah, I see it's declining, but I know why. We are developing a new product, and with this we are investing in, we have hired additional developers, and we are investing in marketing. So it is according to the plan, and this is okay with me. And I hope the next month is going to look at least as good as this one, or perhaps even better. See, here's the thing. Very often, that's the thinking, and hope is the strategy. But you've seen the dashboard before, and the values of the metrics too, the numbers that this dashboard is showing. Meaning, you know that there are quite a few problems upstream of the value growth chain. In fact, there is a major storm on the horizon. So let's take a closer look at what is really happening in my business and what can I do to spot problems before they really damage and hurt us. Here's the first problem. We are late on developing a new product. What will this cause? Well, certainly delay in revenue. 30 days or a month later with the launch, 30 days, at least 30 days, maybe even 60 days later, the money will come in, which in effect will also mean that we will have negative impact on the cash flow. The costs are there. We need to pay the salaries to the developers. We are investing in marketing. Let's continue with the second problem. We're not generating enough new leads with the downwards trend. But this one is just the first one in the whole chain. The next two are, number one, spending too much time on scheduling the demos, and the other one, while we are neglecting making offers. Related to those two is the problem with being behind on the sales. We are just not bringing in enough new projects. Okay, what does this all mean? Here's how the chain of unfortunate things starts, or what I call a cause and effect story. Not having enough leads and too much time spent on scheduling demos. By the way, this could also raise the question of inefficiencies in our processes. Anyway, not having enough leads and spending too much time on scheduling demos will result in even less offers that we are making, and we are at this point already not really great at making offers at the required speed. And this will then reduce sales orders even further, which means not enough new projects will come in, which then will cause less project hours. Now, project hours today still look okay. We are actually even above the target. But we know if not enough work is coming, then that is going to turn into a problem, which in turn will cause less revenue, less hours, less revenue, which, God forbid, will affect my cash flow, my holy cash flow. And that's what we want to avoid. But there's another problem in operations too, another small one. Because if we continue spending hours for this very customer, as we've been doing this in the last couple of weeks, this will lead to budget overrun. And they will not be happy about this at all. But this will also mean that with our limited resources, we will not be able to do enough work for other clients on their projects, which will make them unhappy too. So it's a lose-lose-lose instead of a win-win-win situation. Remember, all the problems I have just mentioned are upstream of my value growth chain. The financials still look okay. But if we continue doing stuff like we do them today, in a few months, at the latest, our financials will look way, way worse. Whereby, in theory, actually, we want them to get better. Well, the good thing in this very case is that I have got my dashboard, and this tells me exactly where my problems are and where my improvement potentials are. So that I can make decisions now, and I can start taking actions now, so that in turn, in the months to come, my financials will look at least as good as today, preferably even better. So, let's see what I could start doing today. Well, the problem one was we are late on developing our new product. What can I do about it? What decisions do I need to make or actions do I need to take? Certainly, I could and should redefine priorities, maybe even bring in additional resources. That's very important. Let's assume I'm in 3 months away from completing this project. Today, I still have at least got a chance to do something about it. But if in 3 months from now I realize I'm late, perhaps even more than just for 30 days, there is nothing I can do about this anymore in 3 months from now. Today, it's a potential problem. In 3 months from now, it's going to be a major problem. What could I do about problem number 2? Certainly analyze campaigns that are working and those that are not working, do less of those that are not working and more of those that are working, and probably will need to start a new campaign. What could I do about the scheduling problem and not presenting the offers? I could just say, okay, my sales crew, this week you won't do anything else but just do the offers. Well, the question may then arise, who's going to do the scheduling to demos? Maybe there are some other colleagues who could do that. We are behind on sales, meaning we're not bringing in enough new projects. What could we do about it? A 9-word email campaign to prospects could be an idea for making that better. And maybe also calling all customers that have not placed an order for more than 3 months. The particular client budget overrun problem, what could we do? Certainly replan reschedule the resources for the rest of the month, and maybe even start calling the contact persons at our customers and warn them and tell them, well, okay, we've got some problems. Now it's the middle of the month. For the one there where we are in danger of overrunning the budget, tell them, would that be okay for you? There's a lot of things that need to be done. For the other clients, tell them, yeah, sorry, this month we won't be able to deliver as much as we have promised, but we'll catch up next month. But everything here, I mean, we have got right now the chance to do something about it. At the end of the month, when everything has been done, it's too late. Well, all these things with the sole purpose or primary purpose to make sure that our financials in 3 months from now will look at least as good as today, and, well, we hope for the better. And this is the real power of this dashboard. To summarize, this is how my dashboard, by answering these 4 questions, helps me manage and improve my business. And it could help you too. Here's some food for thought that I'd like to leave you with. Seeing my value growth chain view, how would this look like for your business? What business functions have you got? Do you do some product development? Maybe you call it business development. I hope you do some lead generation. How about your sales? What do you do in your operations or product service delivery part? What do you do in your financials? I think your business functions could be similar to mine. What may be different for you are the processes and activities that you perform within those business functions. Well, which metrics would you use to monitor them? A few metrics I'm using for monitoring my value growth chain may very well be relevant for you too, even if your processes are not exactly the same as mine. But above all, think about what using a similar dashboard to the one I just presented to you, what would that do to you and to your business? What would it mean if you were to monitor more than just a few financial numbers? Well, falsely possibly assuming that you're just monitoring financials today. Well, what would it mean if you really could spot problems in your value growth chain before they really hurt you? What would it mean if you were in a position to make decisions and take actions on these problems at the time when things still can be changed? Well, I'd like you to take a few moments and think about it. Perhaps even pause a video for that. So, there you have it. The first dashboard I believe is worth using. I hope this inspires you and also gives you a few ideas about how you could use this kind of dashboard for your business. Well, please leave me your comments below. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you find good about it and how would you see using this tool in your very situation. Also, let me know what you would change. I may shoot another episode on it. Well, feel free to share this with your friends and everyone who you think would also benefit from it. But you can also be a guest on the dashboards worth using. Meaning, if you have got a few questions about your business or about a part of it, and you would need a dashboard to answer these questions in an actionable way, well, I may be able to help you design this dashboard, and then I can present it in one of the upcoming episodes. Well, in this case, just send me an email to fkolenko@dashboardsworthusing.com. Put the guest in the subject line and tell me a bit about your business. Tell me a bit what you do and tell me about what kind of dashboard you would need or about what idea for a dashboard worth using have you got. Well, if it's a good fit for my show, I will get in touch with you and we will start the process. So, I hope you have enjoyed this episode and I also hope you find it useful. If you haven't done this yet, go ahead and subscribe to Dashboards Worth Using so that you'll be notified right after I publish a new episode and you will not miss any of them. Now, if you would like me to help you design and implement your dashboards and reports, just send me an email to fkolenko@dashboardsworthusing.com and we'll start the dialogue. So, that's it for now. Happy dashboarding, happy managing, happy results improving, and I will see you in the next episode.